All right, guys, this is what they're scared of. I'm about to show y'all some people wanted my thoughts on it, and I'm going to give it to you here in a bit. But there is something that I want to there's something that I want to talk about. This is what they're scared of. Now, regarding the company that's doing it, doesn't matter how you feel about them. That's actually not even particularly relevant about this, because at minimum, you know that they're ideologically different from the usual suspects. I've said before, the whole owning the left thing isn't trying to do the approach that a lot of people have unfortunately adopted as a policy or strategy. If you really want to own them, detach from the things it is that they control, create alternatives that are just as competitive, and compete with them. Because like I've said, the difference is you as a non-leftist fund the left doesn't fund you. What they're utterly terrified of is the fact that non-leftists finally wake up and say, you know what, fuck these fucking people. They're terrified of it. So they would discourage you to do your own thing. They would delegitimize everything it is you do. Hey, you never be the big guy. Who cares what you do? You don't have all that. They'll try to deter you from ever trying to be successful, right? Because they're terrified of that, because they know that their power is gone once the customers wake up and realize the actual power it is that they have. Do not short yourself as a customer and a paying one. You have more power than you could ever dream, right? Once people plug out of that, like this whole, we're in this psychosis where everything they control must be seen as legitimate, especially in this technological age. There's a lot of opportunity out there for us, right? A lot of it. And you say, well, they're going to look at what they did to Parler. Like, well, how about you look at Parler as a situation where they didn't do everything it is that they could to prevent it? Using Amazon's fucking service. What the fuck were you thinking when you did that anyway? But here's an example of it, and you've probably seen this. Like I said, I'm not gonna too much play much of the audio. Matter of fact, we'll watch. Let's watch a little bit of this. Let's watch a little bit of this. It gives you some backstory.
Do you remember when there were two genders and only 1.5 of them had to shave their mustaches? Oh, hi. I'm Jeremy Boring, CEO and God King of the Daily Wire. Harry's Razors used to advertise on our shows. They're a great product, and we were happy to do it. That's before some peon who works for me went and said that boys are boys and girls are girls, and that was just too much for Harry's. They condemned our views held by millions of Americans and virtually every human who's walked the planet until about 15 minutes ago, as inexcusable. And they dropped their ads from our network because of what they called values misalignment. You're damn right our values are misaligned. And it's not just Harry's either. Gillette razors used to be the best a man could get. Then they decided that men are too toxic. Unless you're the kind of man who teaches his daughter to shave her beard. If that makes sense to you, keep buying Gillette. But if you've had enough of the woke bullshit, and you're tired of paying companies like Harry's and Gillette to hate you,
This is so well produced.
then buy my new razor instead. Behold, Jeremy's razors. Yes, they're real. Yes, they're fabulous. But Jeremy, you say, you're a svelte silver fox with a salt and pepper beard that's the envy of lesser men. You're damn right I am. And I want to be clear that shaving with the Jeremy's razor won't actually make you look more like me.
Yes, you're giving me fierce. You're giving me power.
Could make you look more like this guy, though. And that's the most homoerotic moment you'll ever get from a Jeremy's razor commercial. What kind of man shaves with a Jeremy's razor? I don't know. How about cowboys, firefighters, those guys that shot Osama bin Laden? I mean, no, none of those guys have ever even heard of a Jeremy's razor, but imagine how much more manly they'd be if they had.
that Michael Knowles next to him?
Right now, you're probably wondering if this whole thing is a joke. Sure it is. That doesn't mean it isn't real, or that it won't be the best shave of your life. Harry's Razors doesn't want your business. I do. They seem to hate you, and I can't say that I love you, but I don't mean you any specific harm. Our country's in trouble. Conservatives are being canceled by Hollywood, the media, universities, and now Harry's Razors. Stop giving your money to woke corporations who don't think you deserve their product. Give it to me instead.
Head over to IHateHarrys.com and pre-order your Founders Series razor and shaving cream set today.
Again, this is going to be far more effective in combating. Again, I don't care how you feel about the folks over at Daily Wire, but right there is far more. What they're doing right there is far more effective than anything that they're ever going to do politically. And they might not even see that. It's just the facts. If you want to fight back culturally, that's how you do it. Right? It's a guy that first of all, the commercial in itself is hilarious. It's well produced. And you see that obviously that these guys ain't fucking around. Right? This is something that he's taking at least serious. And yeah, the whole Harry situation light a fire up under his ass, sure. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that that's what's more needed. It's not just about being an alternative. It's about taking yourself seriously enough to where you look at yourself and what it is that you're doing, detached from what it is that they do, as legitimate. Okay? Like that's what it is. Perceived legitimacy is all that the left has. They have control of brands that we know and love, like these fucking guys. And like I say, this will be replaced on my wall soon enough. But they have perceived legitimacy. Does it suck that they may control some things that you grew up on, right? Yeah, speaking of fucking, I couldn't get that fucking jingle out of my head when it was playing when I was younger. The Gillette, the best a man can get. Yeah, like that was cool, right? They used to have all these damn toxic males running around competing in sports and shit. And now they're fucking, I don't know what the fuck that company's doing. And they did take a loss when they did all of that shit. But if that's the route that they're going to go and they have made it clear that they don't like you, it's not about disagreements, guys. It's not even about political disagreements. It's about the fact that they hate you. They make it clear that they don't like you. Are not what I want to be associated with. You are not the people that I want to be around. We should do everything to keep you under wraps. If they're going to do that, okay. We live in this technological age that has given us a direct line of sight with their audience. And what it is that they're doing at Daily Wire, what it is that The Blaze is doing, what it is that I'm doing, is stuff that actually fights back against what's happening. If you want to change the political landscape, you have to change the politics. It doesn't work the other way around like that, generally speaking. This is things that for a long time, non-leftists had neglected as important. But it is important. It's not trivial. It was never trivial. It's a very important thing. And the more people wake up and understand that, bam, we're going to win. More customers understand, like, wait a minute, there are good alternatives. Being an alternative isn't enough. Good alternatives? You mean to tell me there are good alternatives out there? That I don't have to give money to people that despise me, who publicly sit up here and knock me? I don't have to do that? No, you don't. I think we're going to be on the brink of a cultural renaissance here, creative renaissance, where you get people finally tapping out of the goddamn matrix, understanding how much power they have as customers, and creatives getting bold enough to do ambitious things, right? Not everybody's going to succeed. There will be successes, there will be failures. But to act like we just have to up and support people, give legitimacy to people that fucking hate us is nonsense. We do not have to do that. You have power as a customer. Understand that. And then you can change the landscape, because once that happens, they got one or two options. Either the economy is going to be entirely parallel. They're going to have their thing, and I don't think that's going to last that long, because leftists are fucking broke for the most part. Either way. So if they're going to appeal to that audience, fine. And then you got the other side, which be whatever comes out, non-leftists. Again, they're not going to all agree. Not all going to be conservative. Not all going to be what I am in the libertarian or anarcho-capitalist, but they'll be different, let's say, from what is deemed as more mainstream. And they'll lose if they do that. Or what they'll do is change. They'll say, going in this direction, the blue-haired wench that I hollered at that I hired out of college, who fed me all this information that the future of social justice lied, and they'll pivot on that. So let them. They got one or two options. Either way, they ain't got nothing to do with me. Because I don't drop these motherfuckers like a bad goddamn habit. Not interested. Don't even fucking have bought anything Marvel or DC related. Haven't. Because I don't have to. And I'm trying to replace that in the eyes of the people that generally follow me, comic book fans, non-comic book fans, hell, people that want to get into comic book stuff. This is what I'm trying to do. It's what we did in music. It's what Backwards did with the music industry. Like metalcore, dominated by leftists. We popped up on the scene and said, you know what, fuck all of this shit. We open libertarians. We're going to do whatever fuck whatever we want. And they're going to tell you when you start something. I've heard it, like I said, I get deja vu because I heard it when I did music, and now I'm hearing it with the comic book stuff. People don't like to get involved in this shit. They say, well, I don't care. You'll never be as big. You shouldn't be this ambitious. You shouldn't do that. They'll try to deter you from going out there and being great. Fuck these fucking people. They're just terrified of the idea that shit catches on. And more of being terrified of guys like us that are creatives, whether it be in the Daily Wire or people that are in our space. It's less about being scared of them. They're more scared that the customers, the people that matter, they're more scared that the customers will see you as legitimate, because that means less money in their pocket. I'm fucking stoked. This is a great time to be creative. But props to them. You know what I mean? We the episode that I was on News and Why It Matters, we talked to Jeremy. And a lot of people think that it's beef among like a lot of these different like entertainment companies that are alternatives. Nah, it's like, y'all may be different, and yeah, we hash it out, with some of your folk, but ultimately it's like whatever. I concede that you're better than the fucking left over there, at least in some capacity. You know what I mean? So at least I can utter the term capitalism without you saying like fucking vampire or some shit with sunlight. You know what I mean? At least I can utter the term. Liberty, and you actually understand at least somewhat what that means. Maybe you're inconsistent on some certain issues. Either way, I'm telling you guys, we're gonna win. We're gonna fucking win. And I wanted to highlight that example because that's an example of how you fucking do it. You just listened to a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake, which is live throughout the week at 12 p.m. Central on youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and Odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. Be sure to check out my website, ericdjuly.com, so you can stay up to date with everything it is that I'm doing. You can also become a member and get access to a bunch of cool perks and exclusive content, which includes a social media hub where you can interact with myself and other members. It even has an app that you can get, which is now live in the Google and Apple stores.